নমস্কার সকলকে। বাংলায় বা বঙ্গদেশে শ্রীরাম এবং রামায়ণ পরম্পরা এই বিষয়ে উপস্থাপনা করব। কিছু নির্দিষ্ট বিষয়, কিছু কিছু বিন্দু এই উপস্থাপনার মধ্যে আপনাদের সামনে রাখার চেষ্টা করব। I will try to keep some points regarding the Ramayana tradition in Bengal and Sri Rama tradition in Bengal in this presentation in the context of some recent political discourses, and then which have also culminated into some academic and scholarly discourses on the presence of the Sri Rama tradition in Bengal in the last few years, because we have seen some polemics on that and the extent in which Sri Rama is present in Bengal or not present, and whether he is a marginalized presence in Bengal. So these have become contentious issues. In that context, I will try to examine to some extent, bringing out some examples from the Krittivasa Ramayana, to what extent is he present within the Vaishnava tradition in Bengal, and to what extent is it not a dominant force in Bengal. When we speak of Vaishnavism in all over India, we know that the regional versions of the Ramayana, whether in Bangla, Oriya, Telugu, or the Kambar Ramayana over here, they have all shaped the Vaishnava tradition which we know today. And the Vaishnava tradition, the Vaishnava religiosity today has been shaped by all these versions, mostly Tulsidasa's version in North India, which has completely reshaped the religious landscape of North India, we can say. So, when we examine the Krittivasa Ramayana, which was composed in the 15th century, though there are some controversies about his dates, but I won't go into that. I will take it as the 15th century, which most of the scholars agree to. We see that he had transcreated the Ramayana in the Bangla language. For the first time, the complete Ramayana was there in the Bangla language. After Krittivasa, there have been other attempts at transcreation and translation also in the 18th century, 19th, 20th. We have various other versions. But it is mostly the Krittivasa Ramayana which has become synonymous with Ramayana in Bengal. Now, also when we speak of Vaishnavism in Bengal, it is considered to be synonymous with the Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya, where the focus is on Sri Krishna along with Radha. But however, even though this is the dominant tradition, even within the Gauriya Vaishnava, Sri Rama is present, as we know in the Mahamantra, both are mentioned equally. Apart from that, in the literature, sculpture, folk, cultural arts, sacred sites, and in the cultural life of Bengal, the Sri Rama tradition and the Ramayana tradition is present, both within the Gauriya Vaishnava as well as in its own right, and sometimes also as a part of the Ramanandi tradition, which also had a presence in Bengal, mostly from the 1700s to the 1900s. That period, the Ramanandi tradition was also an expanding tradition in Bengal due to the sons who used to come in from northern India at that time. Now, if we go back to Krittivasa, who is a very important figure because he is synonymous with the Ramayana in Bengal, he had taken his sources both from the Valmiki Ramayana as well as from many other Puranas, Upapuranas, some of which were composed in eastern India during the Pala and Sena reigns, and also from various other folk traditions of the Ramayana. So there are many incidents in the Krittivas Ramayana which are specific to the Krittivas Ramayana, maybe also present in some other regional versions, but which are not there in the Valmiki Ramayana. Now, regarding the existing literature, there are some literary studies on the Krittivasa Ramayana, also on some of the differences with the Valmiki Ramayana, but what I have tried to do in this paper is to link the incidents in the Krittivasa Ramayana which are unique there to some of the geographical locations in Bengal, to see the way in which the Krittivasa Ramayana has also influenced the geospatial cultural heritage of this region. And the name of his book, the official name is Srirangam Panchali, and it's generally placed in the 15th century, and it was a transcreation where he had placed the Ramayana in a Bengali cultural setting. His characterization of Sri Rama, Devi Sita and others are so close to the Bengali ethos that they have become folk heroes of the region and are part of the cultural life of the common people. In many ways, his Ram Panchali was an original composition where he has incorporated many incidents from many diverse sources and made all these incidents part of the Ramayana corpus for the people of Bengal. Now, firstly, something which is very well known, I will start with that, and then I will go to some other incidents which are not very well known. Most of us know about the Akal Bodhan, which is the Durga Puja of today, which is the most important festival of Bengal and also of Bengalis anywhere around the globe. So that is celebrated in the autumn season, the Sarad Ritu. But that was not the original Durga Puja, which was held in the month of Chaitra, which was the Basanti Puja. So the story is that Sri Ram, while engaged in the war in Lanka, he was advised by Lord Brahma to do Durga Puja. And on being advised by Brahma, he did Chandipat, and then he himself shaped the earthen image of Durga and did Bodhan on Shashti evening. Now, Krittivas mentions all these in details. These are not there in the Valmiki Ramayana. This entire incident is not there at all in the Valmiki Ramayana, and the season of the war is also not the Sarad Ritu in the Valmiki Ramayana. Krittivas mentions the pujas done on who worshipped Devi Mahamaya or Jogadda, and on being commanded by Ravan, kidnapped Ram, Lakshman and brought them to the underworlds for sacrificing them to the Devi. Hanuman took the form of a fly and asked the Devi whether she had sanctioned this sacrifice. The Devi then advised Hanuman and told him what to do. Hanuman similarly advised Sri Rama. When Mahiravana asked Ravan to bow down to the Devi on the point of sacrificing them, they said that we are Kshatriyas and we do not know how to bow down. So you bow down and teach us how to do pranam. And when Mahiravana bowed down, Hanuman took the kharga of the Devi and he killed Mahiravana on the spot. At this, Mahiravana's unborn child Ahiravana comes out of the womb and immediately starts fighting with Hanuman. And after a tremendous battle with the newly born child, Hanuman raises him by his legs and throws him down, thus killing him. This incident was taken by Krittivas from the Kubjika Tantra, which was composed around the 9th century. However, there is an interesting ending to this tale, which has a bearing on Bengal's sacred geospatial landscape too. After the killing of Mahiravana and Ahiravana, the three of them were preparing to return back from Patal, when suddenly the goddess rebuked them. The Krittivas Ramayana says শত্রুরে মারিয়া যাত্রা কইল তিনজন মহির পূজিত দেবী কহেন তখন. It is very simple Bangla. I think many of you will be able to understand. The Devi then said when they were preparing to go, Shadhiya Ramer Karya, after completing Ram's work, Shadhiya Ramer Karjo, Cholila Shattar, you are going after completing your own work. Shebake Koribe Momo Patal Bhitor, who will do my worship over here? You are leaving after doing your own work. So at this Hanuman does namaskar, and then he says, Ato shuni Hanuman kori namaskar, Devire patal hote korilo uddhar. So Hanuman does takes the Devi and rescues her from patal. Now this is where Krittivasa ends the tale. Krittivasa ends here and goes into other contexts. But there is another text called Jogadda Bandana, which has a continuation from here, continues where Krittivas left off. And the Jogadda Bandana says, again very simple Bangla, Bam Skandhe Lakshman, on the left shoulder, Bam Skandhe Lakshman, Dokkhin Skandhe Ram, Mathaye Pratima Kori, with the Pratima on the head, Mathaye Pratima Kori, Jailen Hanuman. Martadesh Moddhe ache Khirogram Nam. There is a place by the name of Khirogram in Martyadesh. Tothaye rakhilen toma Bir Hanuman. Bir Hanuman kept you over there in that place. Now incidentally, this Khirogram village is today situated in Purba Bardhaman in West Bengal, where Devi Yogadda is worshipped. And in the month of Vaishak, there are 3 days of puja when Ramayana songs only are sung in front of the Devi. In fact, apart from these 3 days, the Devi is kept immersed in a pond throughout the year, perhaps because of the fact that she originally resided in Patal. This incident is depicted in many terracotta temples of Bengal, which shows the popularization of this episode by Krittivas. And it also shows a converging of the Vaishnava and Shakta traditions of the region, because the Devi is otherwise worshipped as Bhadrakali or Ugra Chandi, but there is a Ramayana connection over there. Another significant connection of the same incident with the local geospatial heritage is the existence of a stone column of uncertain dating going deep into the ground. How deep we don't know. In a place on the outskirts of Katwa in Bardhaman, not far from Khirogram, which is worshipped by the locals as Hanuman Lathi. The story prevalent in the region says that when Hanuman flew over this area with the Devi Sriram and Lakshmana, he crossed the Ganga, resting his weight on a lathi or stick, which he left there in an upright position and which is today the stone column known as Hanuman Lathi. Some other villages nearby also believe that Hanuman rested his knee in a particular place, his foot in another village. So these stories are there in the entire region. Now none of these incidents or these places have any mention in the Valmiki Ramayana, needless to say. So this shows that the deep roots that the Krittivas Ramayana and its incidents have on the geospatial heritage and the cultural landscape of this entire region. Some other incidents which are exclusive to Krittivas are the killing of Tarani Sen, who was Vibhishan's son. This character is not there at all in the Valmiki Ramayana. So he was also killed at the hands of Sriram. We find a young and heroic Tarani Sen, who was a secret devotee of Ram, fighting the battle on behalf of his uncle Ravana, and fighting with such skill that Sri Ram fails to defeat him. Vibhishan then advises Ram, who does not know that the valiant prince is his son, to use the Brahmastra against him. Otherwise it would not be possible to kill him. Ram does so, and immediately Tarani Sen's head falls on the ground. Here Krittivas takes our emotion to a high by describing the scene as Dui Khondo hoye bir pore bhumi tole Toronir kata mundo Ram Ram bole. The severed head of Tarani Sen kept on saying Ram Ram. So Vibhishan starts crying, and when Sri Ram asks him why are you crying, then he says that he is my son. At this, Sri Ram also starts crying and says that why didn't you tell me earlier? Then Vibhishan answers by saying that I am not crying because my son is killed, but I am crying because my son has the good fortune to be killed by Ram, and I, being Ram's devotee, I have to wait for such a long time to have this, to gain Swarga. So, here we see that Krittivas has transformed the Veer Rasa of the Valmiki Ramayana into a Karun Rasa, which was in tune with the Bhakti movement of that time, which was sweeping through Bengal and also India. There is another son of Ravana, born in the womb of Chitrangada, named Birbahu, who was also a Vaishnava, and he waged a tremendous battle with Ram, knowing well that he was an avatar of Vishnu. When the two were evenly matched, 5 minutes. It was Birbahu who said that you have to use the Vaishnava Astra against me. He advised Sri Ram. And it was this weapon which again felled him. Here also Krittivas says, Bhumete poriya mundo Ram Ram bole, Vibhishan dilo mundo Ram podo tole. So we see that the ferocious and unrepentant Rakshasas of the Valmiki Ramayana are here transformed into Vaishnavas, Bhaktas, who are doing everything for the sake of being killed by Rama. Even Ravan himself is a secret devotee of Rama, who has the ultimate ambition of being killed at his hands. So, this Bhakti Rasa transforms this entire epic from a warlike situation into a Bhakti poetry, into a drama kind of thing. And even Krittivas' Sita is like a soft and blushing housewife. For example, when the Rishi Patnis asked Sita about Rama's introduction, she blushed and lowered her face, saying, Laje odhomukhi Sita na bolen ar. Sita could not say anything in front of Rama. Ingite bujhan shami ini je amar. By showing her hands only, when she was so blushing. So, in this way, he has transformed the characters of Rama, Lakshmana, Sita also, and made them into very soft, gentle characters. So, why is this transformation? If we look at the post-Krittivas era, Sri Chaitanya era, we will see that there also Sri Krishna and Radha, the emphasis is on the Vrindavan Leela, rather than Sri Krishna as the inspirer of the Kurukshetra war or the Bhagavad Gita, etc. So, it is my speculation. Many people have said that this change is there, but why is this change? No one has speculated on this. My speculation is that this softness and tenderness which was brought in at that time was the need of the hour to occupy the mental space of the people, because if we look at the socio-political atmosphere of the time, as we have seen in the other papers, there was an aggression, and Bengal was among the first to fall to the Turkish aggression in the early years of the 13th century. And from that time onwards, there was a continuous conversion. So, in order to mentally occupy the space, the mind space of the people, this sort of portrayal of Ram, Sita, and also Krishna, Radha was necessary to check the demographic erosion at that time. So, it may be that this is the reason why this was changed in a way. The portrayal of Sri Ram, Lakshman, Sita at this time was in this special way. So Krittivas in a way paved the way for Vaishnava Bhakti to sweep Bengal. After this, from the 17th to the 19th century, we see a lot of Ramanandi sons coming in from northern India. One of them, like Gopal Das Babaji, made again a place in the same Bardhaman district, his center. He set up a Sri Rama temple there, and he started a fair, an annual mela there, which is still happening, and which at one time was the biggest mela of undivided Bengal. This is in Dodhiya Boiraggotala, and it is centered around Sri Rama and the Ramananda sadhak called Gopal Das Babaji. So many of the prominent families of Bengal worshipped Sri Ram in the form of Raghunath Shila as their Kula Devata. For example, Sri Ramakrishna's family also did so. If we read the Ramakrishna Kathamrita, we will see that he copiously mentions examples of Sri Ram, Sita and Hanuman whenever he talks of bhakti. It is there in almost all of the pages. And in fact, Sri Ramakrishna has spoken in the Kathamrita of his vision of Sita Mata walking up from the Ganga Ghat and through the gardens of the Dakshineshwar temple. He says that I suddenly saw a beautiful lady stepping up from the Ganga Ghat and walking through the temple. I could not recognize her. I recognized her only when all the monkeys in the neighborhood, until today we know that those of us who have visited Dakshineshwar know that there are a lot of monkeys over there. When all the monkeys suddenly came and prostrated at her feet, then I recognized that she was Sita Devi. So Sri Ramakrishna has spoken of this incident. However, in spite of all these, it is true that Rama worship was always present and is today also present, but is not a dominant feature of the religious landscape of Bengal. So there are various reasons to that. I will not be going into that reason. But I will just conclude by saying that Krittivas has interlinked the Vaishnava and the Shakta heritage of Bengal in various ways, and he has broken down the mutual exclusivity between the two religious sampradayas of that period. He had consciously adapted the Ramayana to the Bengali cultural ethos of the time and also the psyche of the people of the region, and had brought Ramayana close to the common people. And today it is necessary to give due importance to the creators of all these regional versions who have not only imparted diversity and regional flavor to the Vaishnava landscape of today, but have also strengthened and preserved the Ramayana culture that has shaped this country and its people. Thank you. And I also thank the Indic Academy and our curator, Nagrajji, for giving me the opportunity to present this in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As expected, this was a wonderful paper from... please give the mic to her. Now there is no more conflict between Jai Shri Ram and Jai Mata Di.
Hello, sir.
In Bengal. Can we expect?
Sir,
Yeah.
it is not my question, it is my query. I have hearing your papers. A query is arising in my mind. If you are historian, therefore, you mentioned here that the Krittivasa was a 15th century poet of Bengal, and he translated the Ramayana into Bengali language. In the translation of the regional language, actually Ramayana is incorporated with the oral tradition of Ramayana also. Have you think as a historian, the Krittivasa take the snap, take the folk elements, just folk tales and other source, just you mean you mentioned that Okal Bodhan. Actually, I have doing my field works in Bengal, Odisha and Assam. In my DLit thesis, oral tradition of Ramayana in the Bengal, Assam and Odisha. It is a comparative study. I have finished field work. I have got the folk tales and other proverbs about the Okal Bodhan and others Ohiravan and Mahiravan ka folk tales I have collected from your places also. Therefore, I want to ask you, as a historian, do you feel that the influence of Vaishnavism on Kirtivasa, it is quite natural because it is 15th century, 14 last part of 14th and 15th century, there is a wave of bhakti movement in whole India.
He has already mentioned it.
Yeah.
In the paper.
Therefore, it is maybe one factor, influence of Vaishnavism, but I think you have confessed about the oral tradition of Ramayana, which is pan-Indian background. It is always before Valmiki, there was also Ramayana tradition in oral stage. Valmiki collected the floated ballads from folk society. After he is a written.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
See, there is Adbhuta Ramayana also, which has the Shakta elements. But there the Sita becomes Shakti, really. So Sita is even portrayed more powerful than Rama. But going by your description of Kritibasa, this is also has Shakta elements. But the Shakti herself is shown and not Sita. Do you think this is due to some specific cultural trends of the era?
We can't say actually.
The way Krittivas has portrayed, as I said in the last part of the paper.
Please come.
As I already mentioned in the last part of the paper, Krittivasa, even though of course Ram is an avatar of Vishnu and everyone is doing bhakti to him, but still Sri Rama, Sita, Lakshmana, all of these characters, perhaps for the sake of making them close to the people and bringing them closer into the psyche of the people, they have been shown almost as we can say next door characters. They have been shown as ordinary people like us. They have been portrayed in such a way, and that is why some people take this example to say that Sri Rama is not worshipped as a god in Bengal, but he is just another character, but not as a god in Bengal. Some people use Krittivasa for this, though Krittivasa did not have any such thing. But Krittivasa portrays Ram, Sita, Lakshman in a way that they are very ordinary, soft-spoken people, as we have seen that Sita is blushing and she is getting embarrassed and all that. So it is not that she is portrayed as a Devi or that Ram is portrayed as someone very Shaktishali or someone like that. They are portrayed as ordinary people like us, more or less, who are of course avatars. So that is the way he is showing.